much, Gregory. Can I say thank you very much. Very honoured to be actually asked to come along and speak tonight. I know you've had some very distinguished guests in the past. And thank you very much for making me and Lena so welcome. We've had a lovely meal so far, a lovely company. We really enjoyed it. I do wonder if the numbers are down a bit because I was the guest speaker, but I hope that's true. A lot of people say to me, what's it like being an MEP and what's it like in the European Parliament? And I found a very good quote that sums up my attitude to the whole thing. It's a quote from Marx, Groucho, not he said, if I quote what Groucho said, politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it, and then misapplying the wrong remedies. And I think that sums up the European Parliament and the European Union completely, as you've seen so many examples of things, not least the single currency, which is a case in point, but looking for a solution for a problem that doesn't exist and then misapplying it. But that's where we are. Now, I also looked at your website and I've seen that the Traditional Britain group is dedicated to real conservatism. So I looked up the dictionary and thought, well, now what does conservatism actually mean? And in my dictionary it says favouring the preservation of established customs and values. Well, I couldn't fail to agree with that, but I would never been a conservative with a big C. I never joined a political party before I helped to set UKIP up in 1993 from something called the Anti-Federalist League, which existed in 1992. So I would say that I certainly want to conserve existing customs and values, but I would never describe myself as a conservative. And of course, political names are odd things, political party names. They become an abstract in the end, because if you think about it, the Labour Party now seems to predominantly represent people that don't work. The Liberal Democrats do stand for a great many things which are neither liberal nor democratic. And the Conservatives have never conserved anything that anybody can ever remember. But at least UKIP does exactly what it says on the tin, which is it's dedicated to getting Britain out of the European Union. And I think it will be a very long time before our name becomes an abstract, and I hope it never does. Now, when thinking about what to speak about tonight, I thought, what's the theme? And I thought, well, I think the theme really is, what do we mean by traditional Britain? I think that's a very subjective thing. Everybody's going to have a slightly different version. So what I'd like to do is say maybe a bit about what it means to me, and try to agree on some common things and see where they're going. Now, if I can briefly explain my background a little bit, I grew up in a very working class area, the Isle of Dogs, long before it became gentrified into Docklands. My father had been in the Second World War, like most of my friends' fathers at that time. We played on debris, bomb sites, because they hadn't rebuilt after the Blitz. And we had nothing very much material to talk of, but we really did feel, I think, that we kind of won the first prize in the lottery of life because we'd been born Englishmen. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think our fathers to us were heroes, I think, because they'd all been in something. My father had been in the 8th Army, been in every major area of conflict from 1939 onwards. And we'd really seen off the biggest threat to world civilization that there had been. Britain had been instrumental in beating a force and in counteracting evil. But I think really you'd have to go back to the Greeks beating the Persians at Marathon to find a similar kind of example of the tremendous achievement that they'd made. And of course we thought the future was ours. We may not have had very much, but we were very proud of our country and what it stood for. Unfortunately, I'm afraid my world view from the age of about 10 onwards was gradually being destroyed and eroded and undermined and betrayed, which is why I've ended up where I am and why I'm here tonight, I suppose, because I didn't seek a career in politics. It's a very strange profession to be in for a sensible person. And I had a very long career in the real world until I was finally elected to something at the age of 50 in 2004. But if we can talk a bit about traditional Britain and what it means, I was trying to jot down some bullet points of, I think, things that we could all possibly agree on. And I think it would probably mean belief in the Union of Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland. I think we'd say it was a belief in our Constitution as it's encapsulated in Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights and all the various other constitutional acts, which everybody tells us doesn't actually constitute a constitution and don't really exist, but we all know that they do. I think it would be a belief in our political system. For all its imperfections, it's ours, it's a democratic system, parliamentary system that evolved over 700 years, and we'd all believe in that, I think. Then, of course, there's a common legal system, putting aside the separate system in Scotland, of course, but a legal system that evolved again over 700 or 800 years, and it had people's basic trust for all its imperfections, and we believed in it. And of course we had a common language, English. You could argue about that depending on some regional accents, but we had a common language, and of course we had a more or less cohesive people. And that cohesion wasn't based on race or racial identity so much as the fact that it was a people who shared common beliefs in things, common values, and of course it was famed for welcoming in people who would be prepared to assimilate and integrate into the host culture with a great deal of variation for privately held religious or cultural beliefs. And it worked. I would say up until the Second World War, it all worked very well. And as I said, the culmination of that was when we saw off the biggest threat to world civilization this side of communism. And of course we ultimately won, according to some views, the Cold War as well. But there are also some common values, I think. They're the concrete things I could talk about. There were some values as well, I think. Acceptance of the rule of law, for example. We all obey the law, more or less. Belief in fair play, tolerance. And we were, I think, believing the independence of the civil service and the legal system, which had all been established in Victorian times. And all these things were, as I say, for all their imperfections, jogging along very nicely up until the end of the Second World War and into the 50s. Now, what I believe is, and I hope to demonstrate it briefly, is that all of those things have been systematically and deliberately deconstructed over the last 40 years. It hasn't just happened by accident. And if I take them one by one, as I spoke about, the union of Britain, that has been deliberately undermined by the EU's regional policy, which wants to split up Britain, not just Britain, but the whole of Europe into a number of regions. I had a little book I picked up in a charity shop a few years ago with a preface by Magnus Magnusson, who was actually quite a Europhile, in which it listed all at that point, all the 111 regions of the European Union with their national or regional flags and a little bit of history about them. And this has been, of course, brought forward by Blair's government, and I believe even Major before that, with the devolution. Of course, Major was the great man who sent back the stone and scoon, which Edward I had taken from Scotland. We can argue about the rights and wrongs of that, but it took
it was not even Scottish.
He lost the election.
So Edward I took it, and that great man John Major gave it back. And all this was about devolution. And I think where we've ended up with devolution is a situation where now most Scottish people probably don't want to be independent, but most English people might actually say, well, we wouldn't mind if they were. That's the sorry situation we're in. And the way it's come about, of course, is the Scottish have been asked, would you like to have your cake and eat it? And they've said yes. And the English have been said, would you like to pay for the Scottish cake, but you can't eat it? And of course, they're not very happy about that. So the whole thing has helped to bring about this regionalisation of England. And that's been done because of the EU policy and deliberate policy of the British government. And then we've got the constitution of our country, which is mocked by so many people and is claimed not to exist because it's not written down in one place. Forgetting, of course, that the American Constitution is modelled very much on the Bill of Rights. And it does exist. Every EU treaty that we've signed is illegal under our own constitutional acts. Especially the last one, the Lisbon Treaty. Now, I hope to write a little pamphlet on this in the near future, demonstrating all this. But we have been deliberate. If the Bill of Rights doesn't apply